Ladies and gentlemen, please begin to take your seats as we will begin shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, please begin to take your seats as we will begin in about a minute. Welcome to the 2022 Dakota Wesleyan University Legacy Banquet. Please welcome your Mistress of Ceremonies for this evening's festivities, DWU Campus Visit and Office Coordinator of Admissions, Renee Kerner.
All right, now we're ready to go. Great. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the annual Legacy Banquet as we kick off Blue and White Days 2022. Now, as most of you know, we kicked off the new school year with a week of festivities and activities to celebrate the inauguration of President Dan Kittle. Some of the highlights included collection of 2,400 pounds of food during our freshman food drive led by Dan and Ashley Kittle, an evening of inflatables and visits from Mitchell food trucks for our students, a picnic for all employees, a formal dinner for special guests hosted by President and Ashley Kittle, and a truly meaningful investiture ceremony with an outdoor community celebration to follow, where we welcomed more than 300 alumni, friends, faculty, and staff. Last week, we hosted a full day of activities dedicated to celebrating the 100th anniversary of Senator George McGovern's birth and the 50th anniversary of his historic presidential campaign. Nearly 150 guests attended lectures, discussions, reminiscences by friends and family, the Stark Lecture delivered by McGovern biographer Thomas Knock, a banquet featuring an array of prominent individuals paying tribute to the senator, and of course, since it was a birthday, there was cake. So thank you to all of you who organized that event. It really was a fantastic day. And finally, I hope many of you had the opportunity to attend this afternoon's dedication of the newest sculpture to be installed on campus, Power of Possibility, at the entrance to the School of Business, Innovation, and Leadership. This lovely piece of artwork by artist Joan Benefield depicts the power of women Wesleyan, past, present, and future. We are grateful to have Joan with us this evening. Joan, would you please stand so we can recognize you? Or is she here? Did she make it in? Well, thank you to Joan. I would also ask members of the Sculpture Project Committee in attendance, please stand to be recognized if you're on the committee. And I would also invite anyone who donated to this project, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. Now please help me welcome Kitty Allen to the stage to offer this evening's invocation.
Join me in prayer. Blessed are you, Lord our God, maker of heaven and earth, and Father of all your people. We give you glory for your goodness and for your loving care for us. Bless this food and grant that all who eat it may be strong in body and grow in your love. Blessed are you, Lord our God, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Kitty. You may please stay at your tables, enjoy your conversation, enjoy your salads. Our meal will begin, and we'll begin our program shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to continue dining as we begin our program. So tonight we're in for a live musical treat as the Dakota Wesleyan Highlanders, under the direction of Dr. Clinton Desmond, will sing for us. They'll be performing two songs, Famine Song by Matthew Culleton and Bridge Over Troubled Water, arranged by Audrey Snyder. Please give a warm welcome to the Dakota Wesleyan Highlanders.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I'll dry them all.
I'll dry them all. Do, 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 do. I'm on your side, oh, when times are rough. And friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down.
When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when you fall so hard, I will comfort you.
I will comfort you. I'll take your part, oh, when darkness comes, and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down, like a bridge over troubled water.
I will lay me down. I will lay me down. Lay me down.
Sail on, silver girl, silver girl.
Sail on by, sail on by.
Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way, yes, on their way. See how they shine, 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 shine. Oh, if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind.
Like a bridge
Over troubled water, I will ease your mind. Like a bridge over troubled water, I will ease your mind, your mind. I will ease your mind.
Great job. Thank you, Highlanders and Dr. Desmond. And again, as he mentioned, we invite you to join them on Sunday for their homecoming concert. You'll not only hear from the Highlanders again, but you'll also get to enjoy the full Wesleyan Choir, the DWU Jazz Band, the Wesleyan Band, and the Wesleyan Bells. Again, all at the homecoming concert Sunday at 2 right here in the Sherman Center. Well, so many individuals and groups are vital to the success of events like this and to the entire university community. So let's invite some of you to stand so we can recognize you. First is our Board of Trustees, and we have several members with us tonight. This tremendous group of leaders give of their time and talent to provide guidance and leadership to DWU. Will members of the Board of Trustees please stand? Events like this require an entire team to bring all of the various moving parts together, and tonight is certainly no exception. Please join me in thanking our food service provider, Fresh Ideas, for this truly delicious dinner. A big thank you to the physical plant, the IT crew, and the marketing department for their work tonight and throughout this entire weekend. And a special thanks to our servers tonight, the Dakota Wesleyan softball team. Thank you to the ladies. We also want to go back to our thank you to our sculptor, Joan Benefield. Joan is able to join us tonight, and I'm not quite sure where she is seated, but Joan, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Thank you, Joan, for that beautiful addition to our campus. Thank you. And finally, the reason we're all here are Dakota Wesleyan students. So students who are in attendance, please stand and let us recognize you. Now, I've only been here 1 year and 1 month, but I've truly been absorbed and taken in by the Dakota Wesleyan family. And one of my favorite parts of my job is getting to hear stories about these remarkable students. And one such student is Adam DeYoung. Adam is a senior from Watertown, South Dakota. He's a nursing major, a defensive back, and captain on the football team. And on Monday night, he was named one of our homecoming royalty. So friends, please welcome Adam DeYoung.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the university, specifically Jory, for allowing me to speak about my experiences here at Wesleyan. My journey at DWU started when I was a senior in high school. When searching for a school, I knew I wanted one that would grant me opportunities and would propel me to my highest level. When I first stepped on campus, I knew something was different. Instead of just being another student coming on another school visit, I was Adam. I was me. With this, I was fortunate enough to accept a scholarship offer to play football and also major in nursing. Throughout the last 4 years, if I had one word to describe Dakota Wesleyan, it would be opportunity. This university invests so much in its students to provide them with the best possible experience. From the staff and faculty to the surrounding community like we have tonight, the student body is encouraged to reach their new set of goals. Some of my favorite memories here at DWU have come from within my major, nursing. As a nursing student, one of your biggest goals and one of your biggest things to look forward to is your clinical rotations. All those textbook materials and hours in the classroom, skills you've learned, you're able to put into practice in the real world. Last summer, I had the opportunity to have an internship with Huron Regional Medical Center in Huron, South Dakota. This was set up through my nursing program, and I was also partnered with another one of my nursing classmates. During this internship, I was able to rotate around different areas of the hospital, including surgery, medical surgical floor, the emergency department, and on the OB floor as well. One moment that I'll never forget is during one of my OB rotations, holding a newborn baby for the very first time. There's something truly beautiful about new life and the excitement that brings with it. It's pretty special when you walk into a room with one patient and you're able to come out with two. Connecting with the staff and administration during my internship has allowed me to build my confidence going into my senior year at Dakota Wesleyan. All these experiences were capable solely of Dakota Wesleyan and the nursing department. In addition, friends of mine here at school have had opportunities such as studying abroad in Northern Ireland, going on several mission trips, specifically one to serve the communities in Uganda, Africa, and presenting research at an annual science meeting on the campus of UC Davis in California. Students here at Wesleyan have been able to impact people and experience cultures worldwide. Other favorite memories at Dakota Wesleyan include meeting my lifelong friends over there at Dayton Hall. Some memories probably shouldn't speak about, but that's okay. Countless bus rides to and from games, campus-wide service day in the springtime, traveling down to the national volleyball and basketball tournaments to support our classmates, but most importantly, being a student athlete. Being a student athlete has allowed me to reach new academic and athletic goals. Being a college football player and also keeping on top of my studies has been one of the hardest yet most rewarding things I've ever accomplished in my life, teaching me life lessons that I'll use throughout my time. The most obvious trait I've developed throughout my career is self-discipline, waking up for them 6 a.m. workouts in the middle of the winter, working all week to prepare for those Saturday game days at 1 o'clock, which homecoming this week, and hopefully you can see a couple of you guys out there. And keeping on top of my studies in the McGovern Library over there have all prepared me to excel in the real world. To be successful in life, I believe it requires to be self-disciplined, and being a student athlete here at Wesleyan has prepared me to do so. When I graduate from Dakota Wesleyan here in the spring, I'll be ready to change the world. I want to impact people in the way they'll never forget. I want to reach people through my character and through my care as a nurse. I want to leave a legacy that represents myself, but more specifically, Dakota Wesleyan and you guys in a positive manner. I'm honored to be the voice for our student body. We will do amazing things for this world, and you guys are the reason we're able to pursue our dreams. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your story, Adam. I believe you will change the world. And what a great opportunity we have. You mentioned opportunity, and I think I can speak for all of us here when we say what a great opportunity we have to keep supporting students like Adam. Well, we all know the financial challenges that many of our students face as well, but you may not know that every student here at Dakota Wesleyan receives some type of financial aid, and much of that is in the form of scholarships. Scholarships which have been established by generous alumni and friends like you. One popular method is the opportunity for individuals, families, or organizations to endow scholarships with gifts of $25,000 or more. These endowments live on to generate much needed money for annual scholarships. This year, we are pleased to announce the establishment of seven new endowed scholarships. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Dakota Wesleyan's 21st president, Dr. Dan Kittle, and Kitty Allen, Vice President of Institutional Advancement, to honor these families.
All right. Are we on? Okay. Will Larry and Carol Hawes join President Kittle up here at the front, please? The Larry and Carol Maldi Haas Endowed Scholarship was established by Larry and Carol Haas to support junior or senior nursing students. Larry noted that his life was extended because of the care of nurses 36 years ago, and he and Carol have chosen to honor their profession in the hopes that the recipients of their scholarship become nurses who will save other lives in the future. Thank you, Larry and Carol. I would like to invite John Jakeway to the front. John has established the Linda Krupinski Endowed Scholarship to honor his wife, Linda. Linda is a graduate of 1972. She attended Dakota Wesleyan intermittently between 1968 and 1971. She obtained her bachelor's degree from Elmhurst University, her master's degree from St. Xavier University, and doctorate from the University of South Dakota. Her professional specialization in public health nursing. She has held a variety of positions in nursing, the longest of which was 24 years in the College of Nursing at SDSU. She retired in 2011 as an associate professor. Linda's work with student advising and mentoring, along with her volunteer work in faith community nursing in Texas and in Sioux Falls, are her most prized accomplishments as a nurse. Beyond her professional career, Linda has given generously of her time to emergency disaster response and long-term recovery programs through the United Methodist Committee on Relief. As a trainer, coordinator, and team member, Linda has responded in the Midwest and on the Gulf Coast, doing flood and hurricane relief. The proceeds of this fund shall be awarded to a student or students in good academic standing with the university who exhibit financial need. Preference shall be given to promising students preparing for a career in nursing or healthcare. Thank you, John. Now I would like to invite Jan Quenzer to join us in the front. The Quenzer Family Scholarship was established with a generous gift from Jan Quenzer of Mitchell, South Dakota. The late Harlan Quenzer is survived by his wife Jan, son Rob, daughters Ann and Mary. The Quenzer family has been and remain loyal Mitchell community and South Dakota members, serving on many boards and civic organizations. They are longtime members of Downtown First United Methodist Church in Mitchell, and Dakota Wesleyan University remains close to their hearts. The proceeds of this fund shall be awarded to a United Methodist junior or senior student from South Dakota or North Dakota. Thank you, Jan. Now I would like to invite Nancy Kwan to join Dr. Kittle at the front. The Reverend Harry J. Vicks Endowed Scholarship was established by Dr. Nancy Kwan, class of 1972, to honor an enduring friendship. Dr. Kwan came to Dakota Wesleyan from Hong Kong. She found a community that embraced her and also found a family with United Methodist pastor Reverend Henry J. Vicks, whose daughter, Joyce, befriended Nancy when she was also a DWU student. Dr. Kwan recalled that whenever she felt homesick, Reverend Vicks would always miraculously show up at DWU to take her for a drive, just like a godfather. He eventually became her godfather in reality. Dr. Kwan has established this scholarship out of gratitude for the life of Reverend Henry J. Vicks. Thank you, Nancy. There are other individuals who have established new endowed scholarships, but do not have representatives in the audience tonight. At this time, we wish to acknowledge the significant contributions of individuals in the establishment of these scholarships. The Yoli Kearns Endowed Scholarship, the Dr. Amy Novak Endowed Scholarship, and the Bernice Putnam Endowed Scholarship in elementary education. We are thankful for the commitment of all of these individuals and families in establishing these endowments. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we invite Jory Hansen, Director of Development and a 2007 Dakota Wesleyan graduate, to the stage. Jory?
Thank you, Renee. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we have the privilege of recognizing a remarkable group of Dakota Wesleyan supporters. Since its inception in 2016, President's Circle members have continued to provide the foundational support for sustaining the university and providing a platform for excellence. From scholarship support to facilities on campus, department and program support, the sponsoring of mission trips, the list could go on and on. But this group is our most passionate supporters. I wanted to take a minute to provide some statistics that just support this statement. To date, there are 371 total President's Circle members. 16 of these are young President's Circle members, which includes anyone aged 35 and under, and Jerry Anderson, right? In the Young President's Circle members, anyone that gives $500 or more annually. Last fiscal year, President's Circle members combined to give over $2.96 million to the university. It truly is remarkable, and we're so grateful for the support of this group. Included in this total, more than $600,000 was given to the Wesleyan Scholarship Fund, which benefits all students that are in attendance this evening. And 21 faculty and staff members are also President's Circle members. That speaks to the ability that our faculty and staff truly believe in the mission, and they live it out every day. A key reason for success in the growth of the President's Circle has been due to the ongoing generosity of John and Luann Clark. Since we founded the President's Circle, and continuing again this year, the Clarks have matched all new President's Circle members who make a gift of $1,000 or more to the Wesleyan Fund or team makers. As they continue to see the impact this opportunity provides, John and Luann have graciously agreed to extend their matching gift and are also including matching Young President's Circle members as well. They weren't able to be here, but we do want to say thank you to John and Luann for their continued generosity. At this time, I would like to recognize some new President's Circle members in attendance. Would you please stand and be recognized as your name is called? William Anderson. Todd and Nancy Boyd. Yeah, you can give her a round of applause. Todd and Nancy Boyd. Jim and Susan Fitzgibbons. Mark and Mary Jo Jones. Annie and Lane Rudin. And Karen and Jim Sievers. Thank you to all of these individuals for making this generous commitment to Dakota Wesleyan and to our students.
Yes, thank you again to those individuals and to Jory. Now, I'm sure you'd all agree that athletics have long been an important part of the Wesleyan experience for many students. It's great to know that DWU has so many supporters of our athletic programs and the student athletes. To help us learn more, we welcome former student athlete and current athletic director, John Hart.
Thank you, Renee. I'm grateful to be a part of a group of people who give generously to ensure our students get the academic and athletic experience they deserve. This year, like every year, has been a busy time for DW athletics. With 17 sports, there are things going on constantly throughout the year. And tonight, I want to highlight a few of those recent accomplishments that we are very proud of thanks to your generosity. This fall, the DW Athletic Department was once again recognized as a Gold 5-Star Champions of Character institution by the NAI. This award measures character training, conduct and competition, academic focus, character recognition, and character promotion. One of the biggest aids to this award was our 3.38 cumulative team GPA for our programs. Only 31 of 157 NAI institutions received gold status, and we were one of very few that achieved a perfect score. Currently, our women's volleyball team is following up their strong season last year as they advanced to the national tournament for the first time since 1990. Last year, they ended the season ranked number 14 in the country in the final top 25 poll. Furthermore, they also had the top GPA in the country last season with a 3.75. And this year, they are currently ranked number 15 in the country, and they're 12-3 with recent wins over the number 7 and the number 13 teams in the NAI. Congratulations to women's volleyball. On Saturday night, we will induct 5 new members into the DW Athletic Hall of Fame. Trey Berg, who was a 2016 graduate, played men's basketball. Lauren Fitz, who was also a 2016 graduate, who played women's golf. Chris Pritchard, a 2011 graduate, who played men's golf. Lionel Riley was a 2007 grad, who was a dual sport athlete in football and wrestling. Ken Rummel was a 1971 graduate who will be honored as a contributor for his coaching accomplishments in the state of South Dakota. And this is just another outstanding class that will be forever etched into DW history, and we look forward to appropriately honoring them on Saturday night. And then last year was also a record year for income for our DWU Teammakers Booster Club, which primarily goes back to our student athletes in the form of scholarship. Your support also helped fund major initiatives such as the addition of bleachers in the Christian Family Athletic Center and a new turf baseball field at Drake Field. On behalf of the athletics department, our coaches, staff, and student athletes, we thank you for your continued support and generosity. Your contributions allow our coaches to continue to recruit quality student athletes and quality individuals that we can all be proud of. And whether you graduated from and whether you graduated from or attended DWU or chose to support us financially, you will always be a Tiger. We hope to see many of you at the parade and the football game on Saturday as we take on Concordia, Nebraska, with a kickoff slated for 1 p.m. Thanks so much, and go Tigers.
Thank you, John, and thank you again to all of you who donate so generously to Dakota Wesleyan Athletics. Now, one of the hallmarks of a small university like Dakota Wesleyan is the chance to establish and be part of lifelong relationships. We have many alumni, some even second and third generation, who choose to support Wesleyan financially. One way to do that is through planned giving. We again welcome Kitty Allen, who will introduce the newest members of our Heritage Honor Roll.
Thank you, Renee. The Heritage Roll of Honor was established in 1982 to honor alumni and friends of Dakota Wesleyan who are committed to the long-term stability of DWU through estate planning. Membership is offered to individuals or couples who have made provisions for Dakota Wesleyan in one or more of the following ways: naming Dakota Wesleyan in their will, trust, insurance policy, property transfer, IRA or money market account, or establishing a charitable gift annuity. If you have included Dakota Wesleyan in your estate plans or provided for a plan to gift in another way, we would like for you to stand and be recognized. So when I call your name, will you please come forward? John Jakeway. Dan, sorry, Dr. Kittle, if you'll come up to the stage as well. John, yeah, you can come up here. John is a 1959 graduate of DWU and a 1962 graduate of Iliff School of Theology. Reverend John Jakeway served as a United Methodist pastor in the Dakotas Conference for 34 years, retiring in 1996. Working with youth was a priority in his ministry, and he always encouraged and supported young people in their quest for higher education. John also served as a trustee at DWU during the 1960s and 1970s. Bruce and Gail Heimbuck. Bruce is a 1973 grad and Gail graduated in 1974. They are strong advocates of Dakota Wesleyan and are regulars attending Blue and White Days events. Bruce is an alumni ambassador. The Heimbucks are retired from careers in education. Bruce was a teacher who began his career in a one-room school and finished as an administrator, while Gail's primary focus was early childhood education.
Thank you. We welcome those new members of the Honor Roll. Now, during the past year, Dakota Wesleyan sadly lost valued alumni and friends who remembered the university through their estates. These individuals will long be remembered for their love of Dakota Wesleyan and their foundational stewardship to the university. We are privileged to have family members and friends of these faithful heritage members with us tonight.
Will the family of Ron and Eleanor Jenkins please stand? Ron Jenkins of Mitchell, South Dakota, passed away on Monday, April 20, 2020. Eleanor Jenkins of Mitchell passed away Thursday, November 12, 2020. Ron was born on January 19, 1934, in Early, Iowa. He grew up and attended school in Early, Iowa. He attended college at the University of South Dakota. Eleanor was born in Mitchell on September 18, 1934. She attended Mitchell Public Schools and graduated from Mitchell High School in 1952. It was at USD that Ron met Eleanor Toft, and the couple married on July 28, 1956, in Mitchell. Eleanor and Ron lived in Mitchell most of their married life, with short stints in Germany, Salem, Huron, and Yankton. They enjoyed escaping the South Dakota winters by spending time in Venice, Florida, and they enjoyed their summers in their cabin in Mystic, South Dakota. They loved living on the Mickelson Trail, and they helped serve refreshments to the 600 bicyclists who rode the Mickelson Trail Trek each fall. Ron had a career in banking, starting at Commercial Trust and Saving Bank as a teller, and eventually worked his way up to president, retiring in 1985. He then worked at Farmers and Merchant Bank in Huron and Yankton. When Ron moved back to Mitchell, he worked at Boyd Financial Services for 10 years. Eleanor's most cherished role was being a stay-at-home mother for her 3 daughters. She was an avid volunteer for numerous organizations, including the Girl Scouts. United Methodist Women, was a 64-year member of PEO and several other organizations. She was a member of the Davison County Republicans, where she served as a precinct captain and an election poll worker. Ron and Eleanor were avid fans at DWU basketball games and the Mitchell Colonels, and could be spotted on a regular basis at their preferred seats at the Corn Palace for these events. Thank you. Will the family of Earl Nebelsick please stand? Earl Nebelsick died November 7th, 2021. He was born in the family farmhouse in rural Hanson County, South Dakota, in February of 1933. He graduated from Farmer High School in 1951, farmed with his dad for 1 year, then began his studies at Dakota Wesleyan University, where he played on the varsity basketball team. Earl served in the U.S. Army from 1953 to 1955 as a paratrooper in the 11th Airborne Division. Earl returned to farming and Dakota Wesleyan, graduating in 1959. He completed his master's degree in educational administration in 1969. His years in teaching and coaching included schools in Fulton, Emory, Hudson, Moorcroft, Wyoming, and as principal in Howard for 19 years, where he was able to coach his own daughters. He was nominated for South Dakota Principal of the Year in 1987, named DWU Outstanding Educator in 1991, and inducted into the Hanson School District Hall of Fame in 2019. In retirement, Earl drove school bus for 17 years, served on the Howard City Council, enjoyed traveling with his sister, supported the DWU Tigers, and faithfully followed 16 grandchildren in their church and school activities. Earl volunteered as a lay pastor, including leading services at the Good Samaritan Home in Howard. Earl and Rowena were married on January 14, 1956. They raised 5 children. He was proud that members of his family have cumulatively logged more than 240 years of teaching. Thank you to the Nebelsick family. Okay, I invite the family of Herm and Bev Wienekamp to stand. Good. Herm Wienekamp passed away in August of 2021. He was born in November of 1933 in Presho, the 7th of eight children, and was the first generation of Wienekamps born in the United States. Herm graduated from Presho High School in 1951. He then enrolled at Dakota Wesleyan University, the only member of his family to attend college. Beverly Wienekamp passed away in January of 2022 in Fort Collins, Colorado. She was born in April of 1934 in Marion. She was the youngest of 9 children. Bev attended school in Harold, South Dakota, graduating in 1952, where she also attended Dakota Wesleyan University, and it was here where she met her future husband, Herman Wienekamp. They were married in June 1954 in Harold and became parents of 3 children, Kathy, Kurt, and Kenna. In 1954, Herm enlisted in the Army and was stationed in Fairbanks, Alaska. When Herm was discharged in 1956, they returned to South Dakota, and he began a long career with the Department of Corrections. In the early 1960s, Bev and Herm decided to try their luck in business. They opened a Dairy Queen in Plankington. After a few years of exhaustion, both from the long hours and probably too much ice cream, they sold the Dairy Queen. In 1967, Herm was offered the position of director of the yet-to-be-built Youth Forestry Camp in Custer, a facility that would house 50 juvenile offenders. Given free rein to design the facility and the curriculum, he ushered in a new era of corrections by balancing education, hard work, and personal responsibility. Later, after her children were a bit older, Bev became a successful real estate broker as well as going into the health insurance industry. They fully retired in 1992. Over the next 20-plus years, Bev and Herm traveled between Hart Ranch on the outskirts of Rapid City and Casa Grande, Arizona. Thank you to the Veenekamp family. Will the family of Donna McLean please stand? Donna McLean of Mitchell, South Dakota, passed away Tuesday, April 26, 2022. Donna McLean was born March 3, 1934. Donna grew up in Mitchell, was educated in Mitchell, and attended Dakota Wesleyan University. Donna was the recipient of the 4-year Hitchcock Memorial Scholarship for Academic Excellence. While at Dakota Wesleyan, she met Don McLean, who caught her eye on the baseball field wearing a red baseball cap. They were married and together had 3 daughters, Deborah, Danita, and Darcy. Supporting her friend and husband, Don, for 70 years was her heartfelt joy. Later in life, another great joy for Donna was spending time with her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Donna also loved weekends spent at the Lake Cottage at Pickerel Lake. Donna worked in her early years in Christian leadership, education, and activities. She belonged to Round Table Study Club and PEO Chapter J. She enjoyed spending time with her good friends, including the birthday luncheon group and Thursday morning coffee group. Donna's talents included sewing, painting, baking, playing the piano, and decorating her home. A gift was given in memory of Donna by her loving husband, Don, in support of the Women of Wesleyan sculpture, Power of Possibility. Thank you to the McLean family. While members of their families were not able to join us tonight, we wish to acknowledge the following valued friends and alumni who remembered the university through their estates. Darlene Harrison, Gordon Higgins, Jim Loomer, Ardith Miller. The generosity of these dear alumni and friends whose memories we honor this evening will truly benefit Dakota Wesleyan University for generations to come. We are so very grateful for these people, their lives, and their stewardship. Thank you.
Each year, Dakota Wesleyan recognizes and honors individuals and businesses who have supported the university over time and have reached cumulative giving levels. I invite Jory Hansen back to the stage to recognize those who have attained the Scotchman giving level.
We have several individuals and businesses that have reached the Scotchman giving level, which is cumulative giving of $10,000. 2 of them are in attendance, and I would invite each of you to stand as I call your name and let us recognize you. Bruce and Gail Heimbuck. And Mark and Mary Jo Jones. Thank you to those that have reached the Scotchman giving level this year.
Now to the Tumbleweed Award. It honors members who have reached the $25,000 giving level this past fiscal year. This award is a piece of Macassa crystal that represents a tumbleweed and the prairie on which Dakota Wesleyan University was founded.
When I call your name, please come forward and join President Kittle at the front of the stage. Larry and Carol Haas. Recognized earlier for establishing the Larry and Carol Maldy Haas Endowed Scholarship, Larry was a product of a one-room school in Loomis and went on to graduate from Mitchell High in 1968. Carol also attended Dakota Wesleyan. These lifelong Mitchell residents are supporters of Dakota Wesleyan's nursing and healthcare programs. Thank you, Larry and Carol. Terry and Diana Nebelsick. Terry is a 1978 Dakota Wesleyan graduate. He recently retired after serving for over 40 years in education, most recently as the superintendent of Huron schools since 2011. Terry's part of a Nebelsick family legacy at Dakota Wesleyan that was mentioned a few minutes ago. That also includes their daughter, Jennifer, who currently serves as superintendent of the T South Dakota School District. Diana's retired from the Huron School District as well. She has a love for camping, the outdoors, and our nation's national parks. Though not a graduate of Dakota Wesleyan, Diana is an equal partner in their support of the university. Thank you, Terry and Diana. Nancy Kwan. Nancy was also recognized earlier for establishing a scholarship, the Reverend Henry J. Vicks Endowed Scholarship. She joined the Board of Trustees in 2021. After graduating from Dakota Wesleyan in 1972, Kwan earned her PhD in chemistry from the University of Wyoming. She worked at 3M in Minneapolis for 18 years, where she began drafting agreements and patent applications during the latter part of her career, and then was recruited by H.B. Fuller in Minnesota to be their Director of Patents and Technology Development, which led her to eventually obtain her law degree. Today, Nancy is principal attorney at Kwan & Associates in Raleigh, North Carolina, working primarily in corporate and intellectual property law with her younger son, Christopher. Thank you, Nancy. And Jan Quinzer. Recognized earlier for establishing the Quinzer Family Scholarship, Jan Quinzer is no stranger to the community of Mitchell or to Dakota Wesleyan. Besides being an avid Tiger supporter, Jan's involved in several nonprofits and service organizations, including the Life Quest Foundation and Kiwanis. She's an active member of the Mitchell Downtown First United Methodist Church and is retired from Mitchell Technical College. Thank you, Jan. There were several other individuals that we honor tonight whose names you may see on the slides. Although they could not be with us tonight, we are truly grateful for their support and know that they're with us in spirit. Thank you.
The President's Award honors members who have reached the $50,000 giving level this past fiscal year. The bronze medallion is a replica of the one the president of Dakota Wesleyan University wears at all university events that require academic regalia.
When I call your name, please come forward. The first is Wendy Lamont. Wendy is a 1973 graduate of Dakota Wesleyan in education, and her brother Glenn also attended Dakota Wesleyan. She spent her career in education and is now retired, enjoying one of her favorite titles, Grandma. Wendy enjoys scrapbooking and traveling to see her family. She's also served as a board member of the Dakota Wesleyan Alumni Association. And a special note, she's celebrating a unique event this weekend as she and Nancy Kwan have been reunited. The two were roommates during their time at Dakota Wesleyan. Thank you, Wendy. Next is Betty Oldenkamp. Betty officially retired in December 2021 as president and CEO of Lutheran Social Services in Sioux Falls. She was named the 2017 Distinguished Alumna from the Ron and Sheila Gates College of Business, Education, and Social Science. She worked at the Adjustment Training Center in Pierre and then as a residential supervisor in Madison. After that, she was hired by the South Dakota Department of Human Services and the Division of Developmental Disabilities, where she eventually became the director. In 1997, Betty became the director of the Division of Mental Health, overseeing 11 community mental health centers that provided services for about 14,000 people. Betty's twice received the Governor's Award for Employee Excellence, and she served on the Dakota Wesleyan University Board of Trustees. Thank you, Betty. As we conclude the honoring of the President's Award recipients, we want to acknowledge those who could not be with us tonight. We are, as always, so appreciative of their support.
Thank you, Jory. And again, we invite Kitty Allen back to the stage to honor the next group of dedicated alumni and friends that have made an impact on the university.
The Sacrifice or Service Award is presented to donors who have contributed gifts totaling $100,000 or more to the university. While our two honorees were not able to be with us this evening, I want to take a moment to acknowledge their contributions. John and Joan Hartung. John was a biology professor, academic dean, and track coach at DWU in the late 60s and early 70s. Joan supported his efforts and provided hospitality and home-cooked meals for so many students who were far from home. This week, many of his athletes and those he mentored are attending Blue and White Days as part of the Hartung reunion. The attendees will gather Saturday to honor the legacy and impact that the Hartung family had on countless DWU alumni. Carol Lucas, class of 1961, was also honored with an honorary doctorate this past May. After several fellowships and experiences across an array of disciplines, she joined the faculty at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where she eventually ascended to the rank of full professor and served as one of the first female department chairs of a biomedical engineering program in the nation. Carol's passion for math and sciences have led her to make significant contributions in funding scholarships for the next generation of women leaders in math and science. Thank you to Carol Lucas. The Cross and Flame Award is presented for those whose cumulative giving has reached the level of $250,000. Bob and Ree Benson could not be with us tonight, but we wanted to recognize them and their meaningful contributions over the years. Bob is a 1964 Dakota Wesleyan graduate and is an accomplished entrepreneur, having founded or co-founded 7 businesses. Rianne, who worked in the dean's office during Bob's college days, has played a key role in the success of their business ventures. So thank you to Bob and Ree Benson. And now I invite President Kittle to recognize some individuals in attendance that have previously reached some very significant giving milestones.
Good evening. We have previously celebrated these individuals reaching various giving milestones, but I think it's important that we acknowledge their contributions and overall impact at the university. Please stand as I say your name and let us recognize you. The Leadership Award for Lifetime Giving of $2.5 million. Ron and Sheila Gates. Ron and Sheila have had a profound impact on Mitchell and on the landscape of DWU. Most recently, they became major donors to the School of Business, Innovation, and Leadership, which is the home of the Ron and Sheila Gates College of Business, Education, and Social Science. Their support of the arts over the years at Dakota Wesleyan has transformed the music and theater programs, with both the Ron and Sheila Gates Department of Music and the Ron and Sheila Gates Department of Theater named in their honor. The Gateses also made a donation to the Corrigan Health Sciences Center, naming the Arlene Gates Department of Nursing after Ron's late wife. Ron and Sheila, we thank you for all you have done for DWU and for the gift of friendship and support you offer to our board, our leadership, our faculty and staff, and most importantly, our students. The Cornerstone Award for Lifetime Giving of $10 million, Paul Christian. Paul and his late wife, Muffy, have certainly impacted this university in countless ways. The university has deservingly bestowed many honors on this couple over the years. Paul received an honorary doctorate in 1970. Muffy was awarded hers in 1991. Together, they received the Distinguished Alumni Award for the College of Leadership and Public Service in 2009. Looking at notes from that event, Paul said, "The foundation for our philanthropy and our service started right here at this campus. The real challenge is to do something that someone you will never meet or never know will receive the benefits from." The results of their gifts can be seen everywhere you look on this campus. They made major gifts to the Glenda K. Corrigan Health Sciences Center and the DWU Avera Sports and Wellness Complex. After the completion of the Corrigan Health Sciences Center, DWU named the Donna Starr Christian College of Healthcare, Fitness, and Sciences in Muffy's honor. And Dakota Wesleyan also benefits from their gift of service. Paul is a lifetime member of the DWU Board of Trustees, having served on the governance body for many years. Most importantly, the Christian's scholarships have enabled many to attend Dakota Wesleyan who otherwise may not have pursued a college degree. Paul, I am so glad that I've had the opportunity to get to know you in my short time here at Dakota Wesleyan. Your faithful support, your lending of your business expertise, your counsel and guidance to numerous presidents, and your love of all things DWU are shining examples of generosity and benevolence. I think we all will agree that you have ably fulfilled your own challenge made more than a decade ago, to do something that someone you may never meet nor never know will receive the benefits from. On behalf of all of us and the Dakota Wesleyan family, thank you. Finally, tonight, we're going to take a few moments to honor a couple with a truly special designation that speaks to their level of commitment to Dakota Wesleyan University. Fritz and Glenda Corrigan, will you please join me on the stage? The Visionary Award is presented to those whose cumulative giving has reached the level of $7.5 million. This award is being bestowed upon Glenda and Fritz Corrigan, whose significant support of the university has laid the groundwork for enrollment growth and philanthropic momentum. Glenda graduated from DWU in 1964. After graduating with her education degree, she began teaching in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where she met Fritz. They married in 1969, only a few months after they met each other, which I just learned tonight at the table. It's a good story. Glenda has devoted her life to children, first as a teacher and later as a mother and grandmother. The Corrigan's first major gift was to the McGovern Library in 2003. A few short years later, they contributed $5 million to the Glenda K. Corrigan Health Sciences Center in 2011. It was because of their commitment to family, education, and health that they chose to invest in the future of Dakota Wesleyan and its students by making such a life-changing gift. Next, they contributed $3 million to the DWU Avera Sports and Wellness Complex. The Glenda and Fritz Corrigan Fieldhouse and Athletic Institute opened in 2016. They also supported the business program with a gift for the Rural Policy Initiative. The Corrigans have related to representatives of DWU that they find meaning in knowing their financial support is impacting DWU forever. Their transformational commitment to Dakota Wesleyan will make a difference in the lives and education of our students for future generations to come. In honor of their visionary award, a frontier elm tree has been planted in the prairie soil of Dakota Wesleyan to commemorate this significant milestone. In planting this tree, we honor the foresight of individuals who, through their giving and wise counsel, are rooted in stability, branching out in every direction, weathering difficult conditions with resiliency, and always growing into the future. Congratulations. Thank you, everyone who has given to DWU and who supports us in a myriad of ways. Some of my first experiences here at Wesleyan have been planned or chance meetings with alumni, and I've heard countless stories about their time at DWU and the influence that it has had on their lives. It is certainly one of my favorite parts of meeting these folks who have gone on to fulfilling careers, raised amazing families, and have impacted their own circles through the education and connections that they made here at DWU. I know we have many alumni in the audience this evening. If you are a DWU alum or attended Dakota Wesleyan, please stand and be recognized. Every year, we honor distinguished alumni representing each of the 3 colleges here at the university. These individuals are remarkable. They have reached levels of achievement that make me so proud to call them alumni. First, from the College of Arts and Humanities, Wombly Sheena Wee. Wombly Sheena Wee has kept education as a centerpiece of her career and her life. After graduating from St. Francis Mission High School, she enrolled at DWU and majored in Spanish with an education minor. Wombly taught high school for a few years in her hometown of Wombly, South Dakota, and eventually earned a Juris Doctorate from the University of Oklahoma School of Law. Before retirement, Wombly taught tribal law and criminal justice as an associate professor for the Renard Strickland School of Tribal Law and Criminal Justice at Pecan College, before serving as a dean and vice president of academic affairs. She has had quite a career in tribal law as a private practice attorney, a tribal attorney and tribal judge, an assistant U.S. attorney for the U.S. Department of Justice, a legal instructor for the U.S. Indian Police Academy, and as an entrepreneur. Combining her legal background with teaching was a perfect combination. To quote Wombly, Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Rain in the Face, and other warriors were historical role models for me, somewhat equivalent to what lawyers do, which is to help people. Teaching and seeking justice have been 2 of my passions. I feel strongly that we Lakota did not have to accept being a defeated people, but we could use education to better ourselves and to help others take advantage of opportunities so we could have better lives. I wanted to be a part of those who are helping to heal. Wombly credits her professors and her mentors for helping her reach her goals. She says, DWU's teachers are what make the college great. These professors encourage and care about their students. They made me want to strive to become better and to achieve more, even when I thought I couldn't. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please direct your attention to the screens for a brief presentation. Will Wambly Shinawee please join me on the stage?
Pila Maya, thank you. Tatu Washte, good evening. President and Mrs. Kittle, members of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Lesta Turchin, Dr. Mike Turchin, members of the Sculptor Committee, donors, other honored guests, students, the Highlanders who performed this evening. Thank you. It was very inspirational and beautiful. I want to thank everybody who made this event possible. I know that it takes many people to put something like this together. Pilamaya, thank you. I'm reminded that one's successes and accomplishments would not be possible without those whose footsteps came before us. Before my footsteps, my maternal grandfather, Philip Two Elk, who was born in the late 1890s, developed a love of education. And this is during a time when the policy was to assimilate Native Americans, and education was very different. It was not the academics that we think of today. It was using religion and also teaching the Native Americans to work with their hands so they could make a living or become farmers. And as I mentioned, strong academics was not stressed. So I grew up different than most people. I was born on the Rosebud Indian Reservation and raised on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, a half-breed who was born into poverty. I spent my early years with my grandparents, and I can recall a home that was full of love, but where there was a dirt floor, no running water, no electricity. And I guess you could say that I could have become a statistic and be counted out. However, my saving grace was loving grandparents. So all of the grandparents in the audience, raise your hands. I myself am a grandparent. One of the first words that I learned as a child was the word takoja. And in Lakota, that means grandchild. And the traditional values that were taught, that were shared with me, my grandfather was a very humble man, very quiet, very reserved. And those values included honesty, courage, humility, generosity, wisdom, perseverance, and loyalty. My grandfather said that I should be proud of my Lakota ancestors. They counted coup and they stood up. They were able to rise up. He taught me that it's very important that in this journey of education that you also include spirituality. And this means walking the red road, Chunku Luta, which is a spiritual journey. It's very difficult, in fact, one of the most challenging things that I've ever had to do. As I mentioned, I have grown up differently. And at times, I didn't have any problems at Dakota Wesleyan. However, I always felt like maybe I was a buffalo in a herd of maybe elk or deer or even cattle, that I was different, that I had two names. Sally Higgins was my Anglo name, my English name, but I also had a Lakota name, which is Wambli Shinawi, Eagle Shawl woman. It was my maternal great-grandmother's name. And my grandparents, when I was 4 or 5 years old, publicly acknowledged that even though they were poor, they saved up, and they had a big giveaway, they had a dinner, and they acknowledged to the public that I would be carrying my maternal great-grandmother's name, that was my name. And so I can't imagine how hard it was for them to make that sacrifice, but it was the love of my grandparents that sustains me. They instilled in me a strong desire or determination, a hunger to succeed, even if the odds were against me. And I will tell you that love is very powerful. If you have somebody that believes in you unconditionally, and that person is behind you, you can overcome a lot of life's difficulties. I said that one's successes and accomplishments are not possible without those whose footsteps came before you. Besides my maternal grandfather, on my journey, on my path, there were those who helped me at Dakota Wesleyan University, and these footsteps include Dr. Lesta Turchin. who is here this evening. She was a gentle but very strong warrior woman who was able to instill into me a desire to make things right, to stand up for those people who could not stand up for themselves, a sense of justice. And Dr. Michael Turchin, he was my speech teacher, and he used tough love in his classes. I can't remember how many times I was almost in tears but he wanted to make sure that we got things right, to be able to communicate and to speak. And it gave me the foundation to succeed in law school. Thank you, Mike. Dr. Jim McLeod, who is not here, in history, he taught me, and this is during the time of Marshall McLuhan change. It was a time of, I guess, a lot of changes going on, and he taught me not to accept history, a sanitized version of history, but that I should seek out truth and do my own research. So I credit him with instilling that. And there was Milt Kudlacek, the art teacher, who was kind of eccentric. But very creative. He was a character. But one of the things that impressed me about Professor Kudlacek was that he said art transcends culture. Art, you can use artistic expression to change things, to get people's attention. And over time, I've thought about that, and he's right. It's these artists like the sculptor who is changing things with that sculpture that was dedicated. You know, artistic expression can overcome even oppression. So artists can be those who start change, and sometimes for the better, most of the time for the better. So thank you. Dakota Wesleyan University, for me, has been a home, like a nest, kind of like a nest that nurtured young eaglets. The eaglets who return home from time to time. The eagles don't forget where they come from. They return. Dakota Wesleyan had people who cared, who sincerely cared. They nurtured, they mentored, and they helped the young people, no matter where they came from, no matter where they found them. They took them and helped them to become confident and strong and to open many doors. So in my lifetime, I have worn many hats. I have seen many things, good and bad. I've worked as a junior high teacher, a high school teacher, a legal instructor for federal officers, for corrections officers, for tribal police officers, tribal correction officers. I've worked as a tribal judge, a tribal attorney, a federal prosecutor. In fact, at times having to deal with some of my own relatives. Can you imagine how hard that is? There's no winning with something like that. I don't care how good of an attorney you are, if you're prosecuting somebody that you're related to or their kinship ties to. It's very difficult. I've seen many of my students go on to successes, to become lawyers, to become teachers, to become social workers, to become corrections officers. And I've also seen some of the damages that lifestyles have done. I lost one of my former students in a school shooting at Red Lake, Minnesota, where a young man was able to get a gun and he killed several people, including a school resource officer. As a grandmother now, I can see that young people today have a lot more challenges, a lot more things to deal with. They have fentanyl, they have drugs, they have social media to contend with. So getting back to all those who are able to help students, who provide the mentoring, the sacrifices, and the help that these young people need, you are those footsteps that are making it possible for them to succeed. So I can never repay Dakota Wesleyan for all of the doors it has opened for me, and I can never repay those instructors, those teachers who cared about me, who believed that I could do something that I didn't even believe that I could do. And if my grandfather could see me now, today, I would guess that he would be smiling. Pila Maya, thank you.
Thank you, Wombly, for sharing your story. Truly inspirational. From the Donna Starr Christian College of Healthcare, Fitness, and Sciences, Don Shank. Donald Shank, MD, was inspired to enroll at Dakota Wesleyan after a short stint in the local National Guard 147th Field Artillery Band, recruited by DWU graduate Doug Carpenter. At only 17, he joined the Mitchell Unit in 1956 and enrolled in the university, but he was given a medical discharge in 1958, also forcing him to withdraw from classes. But he returned to DWU shortly thereafter and graduated in 1960. A 2-year stop at the University of South Dakota Medical School, which was all the USD medical school offered at the time, led him to transfer to the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School, where he received his MD in 1964. After an internship in Santa Clara, California, he received a commission as a captain in the U.S. Air Force. During his military service, Don was stationed in Okinawa as a general medical officer, providing medical care to service members and their families. He witnessed many eye-opening experiences, including a visit to an active leper colony and temporary duty in Vietnam. After his return to the States, he served his radiology residency at the University of Minnesota, where he completed his medical training in 1971. Don went on to a long and productive career as a diagnostic and therapeutic radiologist at several hospitals in Sioux City, Iowa. He is the father of 3, stepfather of 3, and has 3 college-age grandchildren. Don and his wife of 30 years, Mary Kay Reynolds Shank, live on 130 acres of prairie and woodlands in the Les Hills region of western Iowa. Will you please direct your attention to the screens? Will Don Shank please join me on the stage?
They had 3 rules for living. 1, do no harm. 2, do good. 3, stay in love with God. As I slide all too quickly towards senility, I have added a corollary to these rules. Shank's corollary states, as a general rule in most human endeavors which bear any relation to time, in vivo beats the heck out of posthumous. Consider the application of this event. It is an exuberant joy to be here in vivo, to thank the powers that be for this little deserved honor. DWU was a very good fit for a young man from Tripp, South Dakota, population 913 in 1950, probably 513 today. Medical school is very competitive. A significant factor in determining one's success, or perhaps one's survival, is the quality of undergraduate education in the basic sciences. Something I should have done in vivo years ago is thank my teachers in chemistry and biology. Posthumous thank yous will have to serve and go to Isa Ruth Plank, that's Miss Plank, that Dr. Trevithick, Dr. Charles Dewey, and Frank Wingfield. Inspiration to go into medicine came from Barbara Richardson, a student who contended with 2 significant medical problems from early childhood to her passing in her 70s. I learned a lot from Barbara, from the patient's point of view, that is, and it served me well many years later. Liberal arts filled out my formal education at DWU. I thank Dr. Charles Knipp for his lessons in American and English literature. He had a problem with alcohol. If you can believe, an English professor at DWU with an alcohol problem, but he most certainly did have one, but he was a very inspiring teacher. And Leonard Gentleman was super as a teacher and an academic star in his areas of American history. The Kugel Choir, singing in the Scotchman Quartet with Ron Jacobs, Jim Walton, and Jim Antrim, plays under the direction of Mary Wing. Mary Wing was a good match for Milton Kudlacek. I was in several plays Mary directed, and she never made opening night to any one of them. She was always sedated because she got so into it. She could, maybe if I had learned my lines, she would have showed up. I don't know, but she was quite the gal. Oh yeah, and then debate meets with my partner, Bill Holliday. His father was art teacher before Kudlacek, and as well as a psychology teacher. And intramural basketball with course, killers. It took a lot of my spare time. I spent 30 months in the U.S. Air Force as a family doctor in Okinawa. At that time, I also inspected radar sites on islands in the East China Sea. Yes, even in 1965, we were keeping an eye on China. And then there were the TDYs, temporary duty in Vietnam, fly down and fly back as soon as possible until there came an 8-day mission down there, which was more than enough to make me agree with George McGovern when he said, and I quote, "We should maintain a naval and an air presence in South Vietnam, but stay out of a war on land." So we endured a long, drawn-out conflict with many casualties on land. Ladies and gentlemen, DWU helped prepare me for a life of service to patients, community, and country. If you were asked to ask me today, did you fulfill that mission? I would say, I tried. I am grateful for the education I received here, and I am proud to claim DWU as my alma mater. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Don. From the Ron and Sheila Gates College of Business, Education, and Social Science, Alice Butterfield. If one were seeking a distinguished alumna with a CV that spans several feet, you need look no further than Alice Johnson Butterfield. The Mitchell native was managing mobile home rentals and juggling parenting when she learned of financial aid opportunities that would help her complete her bachelor's degree. After graduating in 1985, she went on to earn a Master of Social Work and a PhD in Social Work from Washington University. Alice has used her education to teach others, both here and abroad. She has served as a visiting professor to universities in Hungary and Ethiopia. Today, she is a professor at the University of Illinois at Chicago, Jane Addams College of Social Work, where she has been on the faculty since 2000. She is the author of several books, dozens of articles, and has served as a Fulbright specialist in India. Alice has 6 children, 3 of whom are adopted Armenian sibling group from Korea. The adoption came about as part of Alice's senior year field placement at Dakota Wesleyan University. She interned at Catholic Social Services in Sioux Falls. From there, she worked with Father Ben Zweber, a Maryknoll missionary priest in Korea. 11 Armenian children were adopted from Korea as part of her social work internship. Her DW internship project merited Alice as a full tuition scholarship to the Joint Master of Social Work and a PhD in Social Work at Washington University. In 1995, Alice married Dr. William H. Butterfield. Bill was a university professor and a dean, a widower with 3 children, and had grown up in South Dakota. He took early retirement to support Alice's professional career and parent the children and their lives together. Their shared values of hard work, common roots in South Dakota, and belief in the social gospel of helping the poor and disadvantaged of society has bound them together. They have 18 grandchildren. Please direct your attention to the screens. Alice, will you please join me on stage?
It's a little overwhelming to see your life on the screen like that. And I really owe it to Dakota Wesleyan. Tomorrow I'm going to tell the whole story of the impact that Dakota Wesleyan made on my life because it was here. In 1985, when I graduated, was the 100th year of Dakota Wesleyan, and I think about that. What was in the mind of the pioneers that took this land, this place, and said, let's build a university? And as Mr. Christian said, imagine the people they never knew, and they'll never get to know, at least on this earth, and the impact they've had in our life. I'm pretty overwhelmed at this. And tomorrow when I speak, I just want to mention this now, that I received the Ada McKeel Bacon Scholarship, the Lewis and Julie Erickson Scholarship, and the Charles and Ethel Voas Scholarship, which made it possible for me with a Pell Grant to come to Dakota Wesleyan and finish my education. I think, though, the most important thing today, I have family members here. Some of my children, my brother Gene, please stand up, and sister-in-law Jackie, my niece Terry and Aaron, and my daughter Joanna, my grandchildren, etc., that have come, and my husband Bill. I want to just say quickly that, okay, Dakota Wesleyan was here. Well, I was searching for some meaning in my life, and my life has been sort of an interplay between being a Catholic and a Methodist. And that really started living next door to Francis and Bob Green, and their daughter Gail Dice is here with me today. And she invited me, and my parents let me go, to the Bible school at the Methodist Church. It was so much fun. It was a lot better than, really, without being sacrilegious, memorizing the catechism. Later, we developed Catholic Summer Camp, which was an experiential program at 3 parishes. I had gone to college at Presentation, junior college. I wanted to be a teacher, art teacher at the time, but they didn't even have a secondary education art program. So when I got there, I couldn't even take didn't even take any of the elementary education courses. But I wanted to find out about being a nun. And I think my parents knew that was never really the right fit. And my big rebellion was going to pursue it. And after 2 years, I did apply. They rejected me the first time because they thought I was a rebel. I never figured that one out. But finally, I had to decide, was that for me? And I remember arguing with God if I could be so bold in saying, if I'm not, most things Catholics learn in vocation is God is calling you and you're not answering. And I was answering and he wasn't calling. Fast forward, I left my junior year of college, went with my first husband. We got a bus, we wrote Jesus is Coming Soon on it. We went to Mexico with clothes and shoes with an Iowa farm families that came together. Priscilla Irwin was from here, and she organized some Reformed Church families to load our bus with clothes and shoes, including 3 bathtubs in the pickup trucks that followed, one for the women for bathing in a hut, one for the men, and the third one to feed the horses. We did. My husband at the time, Robert Johnson, talked our way in through customs in Mexico with our thing. Fast forward, I ended back up in Mitchell, and I was still looking for what it was that I really wanted to do with my life. I had a good life with a family and things, but I wasn't feeling satisfied. And it was because Dakota Wesleyan was here that I was able one day to come up here after I rented a mobile home to a Native American student at Dakota Wesleyan who told me he would have the money next week when he got his Pell Grant. And that prompted me to come up here and apply, and within a week I was in school. The faculty just take the biology CLEP test. We'll give you a statistics independent study. And figuring out how within 3 short semesters I could finish my degree, which was really important. Randy Sprung is here, one of my professors and a social worker who stayed, and Dakota Wesleyan ended the bachelor's in social work program in 1985 when I graduated. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. I'm so impressed at your lengthy donations, your commitment to this college here, and how important it was to me and to my family. And I want my family to know I finally think I found it. And Mom and Dad, Jean, they might understand me now. All right, thank you so much.
Wow, what an evening. I have the inevitable task of following that. This has been a remarkable night, and it's really been a remarkable week for me. As you know, this is my first Blue and White Day celebration at the university, and it's been remarkable. I mean, the fellowship, the joy, the pride, it's been evident throughout, and it's been my pleasure to be a part of that. As you know, the week began with our annual coronation, a 108-year tradition. Joining the ranks of this year were Darby Deffenbaugh of Kimball and Adam DeYoung of Waterton. Adam, tonight you heard from. We also crowned Beanie royalty, held the burning of the W, arranged evening fun and games for students, along with the Fresh Ideas food truck. My wife and I served donuts to students one morning as they went to class, and somehow that afternoon I found my way into a kickball game. And then later that evening, my wife and our son Grant, we went and celebrated athletics with a women's volleyball match, a JV and a varsity victory. The advancement team provided an ice cream social for students that evening, and team makers held a social between the JV and varsity volleyball games. And then today we held chapel. We dedicated the magnificent sculpture, Power of Possibility, at the entrance of the School of Business, Innovation, and Leadership. So it has been quite a few days, and we're only halfway through the slate of homecoming activities. So what a blessing this week has been, and what a blessing to share this evening with you. This evening and this week at the university has so many parallels to a family reunion. Traditions, bonds of experience that you've heard about tonight, the strong ethic of care and love that bring the group together, the family, the community together. And in families, there are people that we describe as having left a legacy, that have contributed their gifts to the family and to the community. You are those people in the DWU family. The word legacy brings forward a set of emotions and has a meaning that has connotations of grandeur, historical, and even legendary. It reminds us of gifts that pay it forward, gifts for which we are very grateful. It reminds us of deserved recognition, so we are eager to pause and celebrate your contributions. And most of all, it reminds us of people that have shown us the power of a legacy. So we gather this evening to demonstrate our gratitude for the gifts that you have provided this university. We carefully steward your gifts so that what they generate, be it scholarships, financial assistance to the university, or brick and mortar buildings, can be available to the next generation who attend this thriving university. Stewardship is about ensuring that the future remains bright for those that will come after us. And somehow it is still more than this. A legacy is not just about the people who provide it or those who benefit from it. In my definition, a legacy is what inspires us to action. By providing gifts, you inspire the next generation of generosity. By providing gifts, you enable students to study, learn, and grow. And by providing gifts and leaving a legacy, you enable the next generation of students to make meaningful and yet unknown contributions to society, science, the arts, the church, our schools, and our communities. So finally, I've come to think about our mission and your contributions with an analogy. If you picture a bridge, and you picture the pillars of the bridge as the elements of the values of our mission, so those pillars being learning, leadership, faith, and service. And our students who enter as first years, they enter on one side of the bridge. And by walking across that bridge, all the while impacted and shaped by that mission, by those values, they ultimately walk across that bridge and become graduates, reaching that other end. So you in this room, to carry this analogy forward, you in this room continue to build and strengthen that bridge. That's your legacy. So on behalf of my colleagues, our students, and thousands of alumni, thank you. We appreciate that you inspire us to action, and for that, you have forged a lasting legacy with Dakota Wesleyan University. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Julia Sanderson to provide the benediction.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord grant you wisdom for learning and insight for leading. May the Lord strengthen your faith for the journey ahead. May the Lord use your gifts for a lifetime of service. May the Lord guide you and be the difference in the lives of others. May the Lord remind you to love unconditionally. Amen.
Thank you, Julia, and thank you all for this very special evening. Good night.